It's your girl Samantha Donette. Welcome back to another episode of The Room. Your voice, your story. Let's talk about it. On today's episode, we have a major, powerful woman in the city, on the scene in the industry, none other than Mz Paparazzi herself. Natalie, thank you for joining us on The Room.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
So, can you just give us a little rundown about yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, born and raised in Montreal. A lot of people, obviously, I'm always saying, I'm Bajan. I am, because I have a dual citizenship, because my mother is definitely from there. Grew up in LaSalle. Born in Burgundy, grew up in LaSalle. And for the most part, I've been on the scene for some time. I have two beautiful children and a grandson. And
You have a grandson
yes,
now.
an
Congrats.
absolute gorgeous grandson, yes. And that's basically it.
All right. So I'm just going to ask you some little simple questions to get to know you just a little bit more. What's your favorite color?
Yellow.
Yellow. Really?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not somebody I see in yellow
Yeah, yellow's my favorite color.
or colors much.
Yellow and black, let's just say separately. But
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. That's cool. Okay, Bayesian background. Are you a
Bajan background. My mom's Bajan. My father is Antiguan.
So are you a soca baby?
I am not a soca baby, but I do
No.
exercise to soca, believe it or not.
You know what? I said that once and a lot of people got mad at me. I said soca is only good for working out.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
A lot of people weren't happy with that. But mind you, I like soca a little bit more now than I did back then. But if you want a good pump to work out to, I agree. Soca
Absolutely,
is
that's
it.
my playlist.
That's cool. And so now, like you said, you've been on the scene for quite some time. What's more your fix now? Are you day party or are you still
Oh my gosh,
into the
Day
nightlife?
party all day.
Day party, eh?
Like if I could avoid doing any nighttime events, that would be what it is. I prefer day parties 100%. While we were in Barbados in 2022, we did day parties, breakfast parties. It was amazing. You know what I mean?
So why are we not doing that here?
We have to get people used to things. They're so stuck in their ways here in Montreal.
That's true.
And I truthfully believe that breakfast parties can work. We were going to breakfast events at 6 a.m. and it was packed.
6
Lots of people.
a.m.
And yeah, it was amazing.
Wow.
Truthfully. I think that we can get there. And I mean, there are some day parties, as we
Yeah.
already know, and they're successful. I don't
Yeah.
see why we shouldn't. If it was up to me, paparazzi would be a breakfast day
I
party.
mean, I was gonna ask you. Maybe you might make the switch
Yeah,
eventually,
well, I would hope so one day.
or maybe do a branch off.
Yeah. Could
Maybe
possibly.
could try it.
Yeah, I could try that.
So, my first question for you: what has it been like for you, a woman in this industry? We know that it's mainly male dominated, right? And so I just want to know what was that road like for you from the time you started till now?
Well, I would say first and foremost, I stand on the shoulders of people like Lady D and Nadine and Christine when they first started Black and White. They were doing events and I was like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? My very, very first event I did by default because a friend of mine from Toronto, that was in 2002. I had brought Jifus from Stone Love here. And I kind of really enjoyed doing it, you know what I mean? But then I laid, low a little bit because it is tougher for us as women to do events. When I was passing out flyers at nighttime when I first started, I'd be the only woman. There would be no other women passing out flyers. It would be me and a bunch of guys. And at first it was, they don't give you the same respect. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the promoters, but I'm saying the people are thinking I'm working for someone. They're not realizing that it's my event directly. So it's a little tougher for us, but I think that times have changed, with your generation and the generation before you. People are doing more events, and I think it's going to get better. I think that women could actually dominate events here in Montreal.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah,
I think
really
we
do.
definitely have something to offer, especially for the more, well, not to take away from men, but the more upscale events and in terms of decor and stuff like that, when we want to give a different experience.
Absolutely.
I think we could definitely take over in that aspect.
Absolutely.
And so, as you mentioned, now you didn't get the respect, because I was going to ask you, do you feel like you were welcomed in the community, whether it's from promoters, the party goers, just in general?
Yeah, I do feel like I was welcomed. Um, I remember, things are different now, obviously, as we all can see. But when I started 12 years ago, going on 13 years ago, there was much more people going out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that I think I was well received. I think people were interested in coming and seeing a new face and, seeing a new type of event. And yeah, I do. I do think I was welcomed by the patrons. Not necessarily all the promoters and the DJs, because sometimes they kind of get upset because you're not hiring them. But, it's no shade. It's just a choice. You know what I mean?
But that's it. You work with for one, who you know, who you like, who you want to put on.
Yeah.
It's your money at the end of the day, so you have every right to pick who you choose to pick.
Absolutely.
And people can't be. I mean, sure, they could be mad at it.
They do. They get it a little irritated, but there's a thing I say, that I will never hire a DJ that asks me to hire him, ever. I think it's tacky. You know what I mean? So immediately, if you ask me to hire you, I'm automatically not hiring you, even if I was going to hire you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It changed the vibe.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel like maybe not so much now, but in the beginning, do you feel like people kind of played you a little bit in terms of prices?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would ask a DJ. I would get someone to ask the DJ prior to me asking the DJ. They still play me today. Ask them how much they're going to charge you. Tell them you're having an event. And they'll go and ask them, and they'll give them one price. And then I ask,
it's a different
price changes, even for photographers. It's
for photographers, too.
Absolutely. They change the price on me all the time. So if I really want a DJ and I ask him his price and he, overcharges me, I hire him, and then I never hire him again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I make it you know what? That's what you charge? No problem. But then I make it a thing that I'll never hire you again. That's really what it is.
So is that I can't recall seeing any female DJs on your event. So I'm going to assume that this is a male thing.
Absolutely.
Even the photographers as well.
Absolutely. And I've been I have been looking for a female photographer and a female DJ that I'd like to bring. You know what I mean? One that's dance hall, because my event is dance hall, and it's kind of hard because the female photographers, the ones that I do try to hire, they're more about weddings and that sort of stuff. They don't get kind of events. You know what I mean?
The nightlife type.
So I need someone that's in the dance hall realm that understands that kind of thing.
How did you balance motherhood and being in the industry? Because that was you've been in it how many years? You said like 13 years. So your kids were younger, not baby, but still young.
Luckily for me, I have a great family, and my kids were well behaved. So
that's a bonus. I know the struggle when they misbehave, because don't nobody want to babysit.
So I had a wonderful family, and I had 2 sisters and a mom. We all lived in the same area. So if ever I had anything that I needed to take care of, they were always there 100%. And of course, my daughter's father doesn't live here, but my son's father, he always made sure that he would take both of them if needed. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah, he was great.
Wow, that's great. I love that for you. not a lot of us in the industry have that, so that's good. That's good. Yeah. And so as a woman and as a mother, did you catch a lot of slack for being in this industry?
Slack in what sense?
Like, because there's always those people who are like, oh, she's a mom, where's her kids? Oh, why is she not home? Why?
I mean, I'm sure people have their opinions, and of course loved the video light in those times when I used to go out, right? So I'm sure they had opinions, but that really didn't really make a difference to me. No, because they're going to say what they want to say regardless.
Always, they always will. But
absolutely.
I like that you push through it, because even me now, I go through it too. And
You just
I,
ignore it.
oh, I
It's
do.
noise.
I'm not
And
somebody
your kids
who
are not going to
really.
stay small either,
No.
so don't worry about it.
No, I'm not somebody who really focuses on what people think about me per se. So that I'm just like, but what bothers me, I will say, is like being in an event. I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but when people come, oh, where's the kids?
I know. No, they used to do
where
it to me
where
too.
do you think they
They
would
used
be?
to-
Like,
Yeah.
they're obviously not in the club with me.
They absolutely used to do it to me
That's
as well.
I
But it's
find that
stupid.
crazy.
Like, where do you think the kids are?
Exactly, I find
You
it
know,
insane.
actually, they've gone to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, what do they think?
They went to get a shot of Henny.
You know?
It's crazy, but again, as women, we face things so much differently. I highly doubt that people see men in parties and
Nope.
be like, oh, where's
Ever.
your kids?
Ever.
So now, again, staying on topic of being a woman in the industry, and you're not the only one, right? Especially, and when you started, like you said, there was Lady D, Nadine, Christine, whosoever else I might miss, but oftentimes women are the ones who tear other women down. So have you ever gotten into any drama with other women on the scene?
On the scene, as patrons and party people, or like
Both. Party people, patrons, promoters, female promoters.
I wouldn't say direct drama. Maybe subtle, subliminal drama, but it's nothing that I really pay attention to, because in all reality, I'm a person. Just say something to me directly. If I've done something wrong, just speak to me directly. I don't even want to talk over the phone. Doesn't even make any sense. Come and meet me. You know what I mean? So I can't say, of course, people have definitely subliminally done things. They've done all kinds of things to be honest. They put me on the internet anonymously. They've done all, but it hasn't changed anything for me. You understand what I'm saying? All it does is make me a little bit stronger, one. Two, it gets people talking about me, and people are assuming that it's bad promotion, but promotion is promotion.
Promotion
You know
is
what I'm saying?
promotion.
I remember the year that they had decided to create a whole narrative about some stuff and put it on the internet. And of course it hurts. But then when you really think about it, like, that person took the time to anonymously create a whole story and put it on the internet about you and hide behind the scenes. How freaking important
That
am
part.
I that somebody took the time out to do that? You know what I'm saying? So when I really started to unpack things, I did feel like I was going to quit though at one point.
Did you?
I did, because it bothered me for my children and family more than anybody else. But overall, when you really unpack things, you say to yourself, this person took a whole chunk of their life
Yeah.
instead of going to read a book.
They wrote one
And,
instead.
wrote it about me.
Yeah.
So, when you really, really get down to the nitty gritty, it makes you realize that that you're actually more important than you think. You know what I mean? And then, of course, because of that time, I had some people from out of town calling me and laughing and saying, oh my God, please don't let this stop you. That means you're doing something good in your city.
Of course.
So leave it alone. Don't worry about it. And when you get on
what do they
Pink,
say if
Yeah.
they don't talk about you?
That's
You're
right.
not doing something right.
One of the person from New York called me and said, when you get to Pinkwall, call me.
Jesus. Nobody go pan that to no,
No,
please.
but I'm saying that's exactly what they said. When you
That's
get to
next
Pinkwall,
level though.
call me. They said then you know your reach, and that's exactly what it was. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'm gonna take a drink to that one too, because Pink Wall, yeah. So did you ever find out who that person was?
Yeah. They don't know that I know, but it's okay.
Oh.
I don't even hold it against them. I see them and I speak and I say nothing.
Really?
I swear to you.
That's big of you.
I might not
because
hug and kissy poo poo like we do here in Quebec.
I don't know if I even want to look at you.
No. I see them and I say hi, and they act like they adore me, but I never said anything.
Well, they do adore you. They
Well,
wrote
yeah.
a whole story about
But
you. They
no,
adore
I
you.
never said anything to them, and they don't know that I know. Well, they'll know that I know now because they'll assume that I know that it's them. But yeah,
We know now.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
crazy.
It is what it is.
Wow. So I mean, like you said, you didn't really pay too much attention, but at that point when you were like, okay, I'm not doing this no more, what pushed you to say, okay, let me keep going?
Well, I had a really strong man behind me who still stands behind me now. So it helped me push forward because he was like, who cares? Doesn't really matter. But what I was more concerned about was, um, job wise. You know what I mean? I was in a job that could potentially want to maybe do some research on you, and I was more concerned about that. But it didn't have anything to do with anything but stupidity. You know what I mean? But I lost some friends.
Oh, really?
I did actually. I lost some friends during that time.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't really want to associate. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, but it's okay.
Well,
showed.
it is okay,
Yeah,
but those are the people who's supposed to know you and
Absolutely.
supposed to
They
have your
didn't-
back.
I don't
during
think
these
they
times.
didn't want to associate because of what was being said. They didn't want to be the next person based on being, you know what I'm saying? But
They-
in
they
the
felt
end, it
slightly targeted, I
yeah,
guess.
absolutely. But
Wow.
yeah, outside of that, no. That's what helped me push forward. My family, my real friends, and my man.
Love that for you. We wouldn't want to see you go nowhere, girl. No. What do you think sets you apart from all the other promoters, both male and female?
It's a great question, Sam. What sets me apart? Well, first of all, one of the things I make sure that I do is I do not hire more than 2 DJs. Doesn't make any sense. I do not understand how from 12 to 3, and basically from 1 to 3, 7 DJs could play or 5 sounds can play. Doesn't even make any sense.
For me, I cap it at like I'm like 4 or 5 at the very
4 or
most.
5.
I
What are they going to
can't
play?
do more
20
than
minutes
that.
each? It doesn't even make any
That's
sense.
it. I can't do
No.
more than.
I'm not going to
than
hire
that.
you and pay you to play 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. Doesn't even make any sense.
And especially now, they're some of these DJs are charging some big money.
yeah,
So
because they're doctors apparently.
Yep.
So, anyways, but I hire 2. I think that sets me apart. I hire 2 DJs tops. You might have a warm up person, you know what I mean? But 2 DJs tops.
But even at that, you don't need, because every DJ should know how to warm up a party.
Absolutely,
So-
and they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do think the Montreal DJs are enough for our city. I do. But I do like to hire out of town DJs just to kind of give it a little bit of a spice. Because there was a time I wasn't even putting DJs on paparazzi flyers. I would just say Canada's elite. Boom, that's it. So it wasn't
And
the
that
DJ.
worked?
Yes, it wasn't the DJs that were bringing people to the event. It was the event itself. You know what I mean? That sets me apart. My team is really strong. For paparazzi, my partner Tanya, she takes care of the things that she takes care of. She takes care of the decor, the bar, and I take care of promotion, DJs, hiring of my stuff. And one of the people that also assists me, he takes care of everything else. You know what I mean? So I have a strong team, and I try my hardest to. Obviously, paparazzi, it's a picture party. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People
sure.
tend to come to the event and tell the photographer, don't come in this corner. We don't want pictures. And then they tell me, and then I go over and say, you guys are welcome to leave. I can give you back your money because the event is called paparazzi. What were you gonna?
But that's it,
what
exactly.
Did you assume was gonna happen when you
the
came?
whole point is
Absolutely.
pictures,
But
paparazzi.
for the most part, I think people like to dress up to come to my event. They really make me, when they walk through the door, every single time I stare and I'm in awe. They really like to dress up. They look amazing. Montreal people are beautiful. You know what I mean? The women come in and they have on dresses, gowns. They look gorgeous. So I think that that sets me apart, and it's dancehall. You know what I mean? And
Dancehall forever.
it's dancehall. There has never been any calypso played at paparazzi.
None at all.
Nah. It's
Do
a
you-
dancehall event. And when I say dancehall, I'm not saying that you can't play a little R&B because we
Yeah.
know that's part of still the dancehall.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not telling you can't play a Celine Dion. You know what I mean?
But there's
Yes.
no dancehall without Celine
Yeah,
Dion.
you
I'm
know what I
sorry.
mean? So you can
I
do
will
that.
argue that with anybody.
But there's no calypso. You could do a little Afrobeat here and there, but even then, it's a dance hall event. 100%.
Love that.
Yeah.
I will say one of the things that mainly attracted me to paparazzi when I first started going. I don't even know what year I started going, but it was definitely the fashion, because I'm somebody who loves to dress up. And I think at the time that I started partying, that was probably one of the only real dress up parties apart from Black and White.
Mm-hmm.
I could be missing something.
No, I agree.
But of the ones that really like stand out,
Absolutely.
that Paparazzi was definitely.
Yeah, and they come dressed up.
Yeah.
I mean, the odd person's gonna come on in and dress how they feel,
For sure.
you know. But for the most part, everybody dresses up. The men
Mhm.
come in suits. I've even seen guys in suspenders and shiny shoes. It looks great. You know what I mean?
They take it up a notch when
Yeah,
it comes to
they do.
paparazzi, and
They
I
absolutely do.
absolutely love to see it. So let me ask you, was
Mhm.
your mom a party girl?
Not at all.
No, eh?
The complete opposite.
Your dad?
My father was a party guy, but my mom, still to this day, no, never was a party girl. She worked, and she raised her 3 daughters with like strictness. And the moment I was able to bruck out and go to a
you
dance
bruck
hall
out
event,
bad,
I
right?
bruck out bad. But outside of that, no, my mom was not at all. My grandmother was, on the other hand.
Grandma was a hot
Yes,
girl.
hot. She was amazing. But yeah.
So have you ever ended up in a party with either your dad or your grandma?
No, I ended up at a party with my grandmother. I went to see Crossfire. They came to, I think, Angela Rondo here, and somebody said, your grandmother's here. And I was like, my grandmother? Oh, she's not. And when I went, she was winding up and down in the front, and Edwin was pointing directly at her like, look at this older lady. It was
Oh
so
my
funny.
God.
But yeah, she was amazing. But yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I wonder if anybody has any clips of you from back in the day. I want to
Oh,
see
Lord.
what Hot Girl Nat was about back in the day.
Videotapes. I don't know about clips.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Let's dig them
VHSs.
up. I'm sure I got a cassette player
I'm
somewhere.
definitely sure there's some. You'd have to check Vibe Time for that.
I
But
will.
yeah, he
I
definitely-
will. I'm gonna hit him up for that.
He definitely has some. Oh.
So you did say that there's people who you might put on and never hire again. Do you have a, I guess, quote unquote blacklist?
Yes, I do.
Mm.
I absolutely do have a blacklist.
How many
Right
people's
from
on
the
that
set.
list, Nat?
You know, the blacklist is not because I hate them, obviously. It's because they've had stuff to say that they never said to me directly. And I wouldn't say the blacklist is long, but there is a blacklist that I would never hire, no matter what. Even if all the DJs in the world disappeared, I would DJ myself. That would be what I would do.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's a
But not because I dislike them, just
No,
because it doesn't
but-
make sense for me to pay them
yeah.
to also talk about me
Yeah.
and say negative things. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, there's definitely a blacklist.
Are there any female promoters on that list?
There's up on the blacklist?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually one female promoter. Oh,
Only-
actually, 1.5, I would say.
How is there a half?
There's one specific female promoter on that blacklist. Yeah,
Wow.
I wouldn't work with. The reason I would make that decision is because I'm a firm believer in community, right? So I think us as a community, we already have so much negative stuff against us, right? And we're always there's always a lot of infighting sometimes, right? So I do believe that being from the community that we are, we should try to love one another as much as we possibly could. Certain people might come into the community and feel like they know the community more than we know ourselves. And I
that's
just
true.
think it doesn't even make any sense. I would never go into my girlfriend's from England. I would never go into her community, you know what I mean? And cause chaos or go into her community and diss people in her community. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm an invitee into her community.
But exactly.
So I don't believe that. I think causing chaos in the community and the people I would never allow my friend to come into my community and cause chaos. I wouldn't. And it doesn't make her braver. I'm just speaking on my friend, right? If it was her, it wouldn't make her braver or bolder by saying some of the things it is that she says. It doesn't make any sense. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, there definitely is one person I would not work with. And it's not because there's any hate. It's just because I don't have any respect for that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Based on
that's-
some of the things that I've seen.
No, for sure. That's
Yeah.
understood. Because once that's gone, at the end of the day, too, it's like, well, what's the point? If I don't
Absolutely.
even have respect for you, why would I
Right.
want to
And not
pay you
because
for anything?
I don't have not respect for you because I don't have respect for you because you're trying to cause chaos amongst us.
Yeah.
Why would you want? You know how hard it is for us already.
But that's it. I think there's already so much behind the scenes that we have to try to deal with
Absolutely.
ourselves and try to fight against.
Absolutely.
Even for ourselves to just try and be successful
Right.
in our own lane. But
Absolutely. And to be fully transparent, I heard a voice note about me through this person. And I was like, really?
Yikes.
That's how you feel? I don't even feel that way.
Yeah.
But it's okay because not everybody's going to like you.
but that's it.
You know what I mean? It's okay. I don't mind. Not everybody's going to like you, but to feel that kind of anger towards someone that's not even your age bracket, and so that would be my decision.
Yeah.
I would do that because of that. I would not that specific person. Yeah.
I like that. I respect that. Tell me, what or how do you see the dance hall or the party scene in general going right now? And what do you think it's going to look like in the next couple of years?
The party scene is obviously not what it used to be. Things are dwindled a lot, and I think that in the next few years, I give it 5-10 years, let's say, I think it'll almost be, I think there'll only be a couple survivors, you know what I mean, of as far as promoters. Events are getting more and more expensive, and I don't see it getting better. Social media has really ruined things.
Elaborate.
Because I think that before, personal contact, whether it's somebody passing a flyer and saying, here, come to my event. Obviously, a lot of the younger ones, they no longer listen to radio and stuff like that. But you had more of a direct contact with the people. Social media, anybody could get behind their social media. They could even create a fake social media and promote an event. You understand what I mean? Or say whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
So social media really has shifted a lot, and I think in some sense it actually has ruined things, and it's not going to get better. AI's coming in, there's all kinds of stuff happening. It's not going to get any better. So I do believe that as time goes on, virtual events will be what it is. Everybody will be home.
What are those?
I mean, like, I remember when I first started hearing about AI and how you could be somewhere and be home and stuff I didn't understand it. And I tried to look into it a little bit, and I still don't understand it. But if we see that the same set of people are being pulled 3 and 4 different ways on a one specific night, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because the younger generation is coming in. They're also going to want to do events. You understand? And the reality of it is that social media has ruined things.
Yeah.
People are saying and doing whatever it is that they want to do and say, instead of saying it to people's face. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I feel.
So I've asked this to previous guests on the show. Do you feel like we need to go back to the older tactics and the older way of promoting, and maybe, still use social media to a certain degree,
Absolutely.
but maybe less of it and more actual contact?
Definitely. I think a more personal contact makes the most sense. You understand? You can invite the 2,000 people you have on your social media to an event, but are they really going to remember? They don't have it at home.
Yeah.
It's on their social media. What if they didn't go on a social media that week and then they forget? So I think that, it should go back. I think that everyone thinks they're a promoter now because of social media, So when they start saying, it's event, listen, once again, promoter is one thing, and you know what I mean? So I think a more personal touch makes the most sense. I like to get a flyer in my hand. I go to places and still pick up flyers. I love to see nice flyers. I love to see nice campaigns. I'm not gonna lie, if you send me your flyer to post and it's an ugly campaign, I don't even post it. I don't want it on my social media.
No,
you
for
understand
sure.
what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I want my stuff to look good. If you have not invested in your own campaign or promotion, why would I share that? You understand what I'm saying? You have to invest.
Absolutely.
So there was a flyer. I was laying down and I seen this flyer and I was like, Frick did this flyer. This flyer is so sexy. And I messaged Ricky. Ricky, who did this flyer? And he said, Alexis C. And I ran, found her number and messaged her and said, this flyer is killer.
She does good work.
What?
She
This
does real good
specific
work.
flyer, it was a pink shoe. I think it was Jet.
Oh yes, just jet white. Jet
White. I was like, that's
June
an amazing
21st.
I love my flyers.
Yeah.
But this flyer, I was like,
Yeah.
this is hot. And I had to message her. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
But that's you. Listen, you give credit where credit
Absolutely.
is due, right?
It was great. And I don't know what the thought process was behind it because I don't know, what the event is specifically, but it was an amazing flyer.
Yeah, I agree. I seen that too, and I was like,
Sexy.
what's
Super
happening
sexy. And
here?
guess what she said? She said, Ricky even said this is like a paparazzi flyer. I was like, yes.
Oh, look at that.
Good though.
Yeah.
It's a really
Yeah,
good
yeah, no,
flyer.
that one was
So
top tier.
that is a flyer personally that should be printed that people should keep. When
Yeah.
I go out of town, I keep flyers. I have flyers that are fans, like different things that they've, that I've taken and keeping at home because it is something you want to, you want to.
It's a part of the experience.
It's a part of the experience completely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
hear that. So Nat, tell me, because I feel like you were a hot girl back in the day. You're still hot now, but
was
tell,
she said
tell-
was.
No, I mean you're still hot, but tell me a little bit about how Nat used to carry on in the party.
Actually, I was at the one time that I went to DeCarry. If DeCarry was daytime, I would go because it's nighttime. I don't go. But I went.
You're talking Queens.
Queens.
Okay.
Right? I went. I think it was for their grand opening. Whatever. I wanted to support Little Thunder them for their grand opening, and you were dancing and enjoying yourself.
I remember.
And somebody said, Natalie, she reminds me so much of you when you were younger. I said, I know. In her heels. You know what I mean? Music was fun. It was dancing music.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
as vulgar as it is now, but it was subtly vulgar because Lady Saw
Yeah.
was still Lady Saw.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know? But
But there was a certain class to it,
yeah.
and I think it also
Absolutely.
it also had a lot to do with how the people partied.
Absolutely.
Now, yes, the music is vulgar, but the dancing changed.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the
The-
dancing has changed.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. There was always a girl or someone dancing in the middle on the floor, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. That's never changed. That is what it is, right? But as far as being out, this is going to age me as well. But as far as being out and seeing the young girls kind of mimicking some of the stuff in the song, I'm like, oh God, that's not going to age well for them.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope.
So even if I look at some of my older pictures from back in the day, I'm like, that will never happen to me again. Look at my hair. Why would I think that I can look that way? You understand? Why do I have so much weave on my hair? And why is it so high off? And I was like 80 pounds, you know what I mean? But I definitely had fun back in the day. And I went out of town to go party. I enjoyed myself.
Were you a video light girl, Nat?
I was a video-like girl. Not necessarily a talk-up in the video-like girl. But I definitely was in the middle enjoying myself.
You liked your moment.
Yeah, I was
Hence-
definitely in the
hence
middle.
paparazzi.
Yeah, well, paparazzi actually came about from. I used to take pictures all the time, right? I was always the one taking pictures and uploading them on social media, whatever the case is. Back then, the uploading would take an hour, so you'd fall asleep, right? And upload your pictures and then, post it the next day or whatever. And it was a friend of mine named Drew. I was trying to find a name for an event, and I think the year before I had Still Standing or something like that. And he was like, you're a paparazzi. Why don't you just call it paparazzi? It was him that actually came up with the name.
And it fit.
And it did fit. Yeah, it absolutely did fit. And for the most part, yeah, I definitely enjoyed myself back in the day. I really did. I've supported every single promoter in this city. There's no one I have not supported.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Everyone. And, as time goes on, like I always tell people, there's always like the king of dance hall, right?
Yeah.
He's the king now. There was a king, and there's going to be a king after him. Promoters can always gatekeep, events.
Yeah.
You know, they have to understand that obviously other people are also going to want to be that them one day.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Okay, let's get into paparazzi,
Mm.
right? What does paparazzi mean to you? Because this year
Mhm.
is year
13th year.
13. Um,
13th year, keep in mind the pandemic stuff.
yes, I was just about
Yeah,
to
so it
say.
would
So
be
that
my-
would have been
It would
what?
be in my 14th.
14th year.
Yeah.
Okay.
14th, Ricky? 15th. Would have been my 15th.
year.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So what paparazzi now? Let's just call it 15 years, right? Because we
Right.
lost 2. What does it mean to you now? And what was it when it started? Was it just an event?
It was because I travel a lot.
Mhm.
I was always at these events and thinking, why aren't we doing this in Montreal? This is crazy. It's so simple. Even if it was just decor, like there was just simple things that out of town was doing, whether I be in New York with my girlfriend Tanya or in the Caribbean. I was like, why aren't we doing these things? So I came here and thought to myself, you know what? Let me try to replicate it. I was biting it 100%, but at least I would have been the first. This is what I was thinking, right? So originally when I first started, my passion was 100% stronger for it. And
Sure.
as time went on, people were having events that were setting the bar higher and higher, which it was good. It was making Montreal look really, really good, because there was times that I would be out and there'd be an event happening and there'd be a videotape, and I used to be embarrassed for Montreal. I used to be like, oh my
Ooh.
gosh, I wish they wouldn't put this out. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes us look like we are country. You know what I mean? But times have changed. Paparazzi means to me, I want people to have memories. Lasting memories when they're dressed up. I want the photographers to capture everyone's, in their essence, whether they're partying, whether they're drinking, having fun, seeing each other. Like I tell photographers, when you see people hugging, take a picture of that. You know what I mean? I have so many pictures. I have thousands of pictures. Like there's some I haven't even put out because there's some pictures that don't necessarily show somebody in the best of light. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's about the memories. First, I originally started it because it was my birthday.
Okay.
And then as the times went on, I got older and I took myself out of it. And I just, made it be about the photography and the memories
okay.
and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And I think it's lovely. When I see people coming in, couples coming in dressed up or, just it shows Montreal in such a really good light,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rare too. It's not something that you see on the regular. Like paparazzi is one of the few events I feel like people really put in an effort
They do.
for. So yeah, it's really nice to see. It's a really nice thing to see.
They do. And one of the things that I really like is when I started, Sheba was the host and she used to do the interviews, and it was amazing. She was right in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With her little self going through the crowd and whatever. But she used to capture all of the people in their element. When they were dancing, she would be like, wow, look at you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And as time went on, Sheba obviously outgrew doing interviews, and I was able to navigate through different hosts or whatever. You were one of my hosts, which you were wonderful.
Oh, thank
You know
you,
what I
thank
mean?
you.
And this year we have someone that I actually think has a personality, the great personality like yourself, that'll be able to kind of give me the Sheba vibe as well. You know what I mean? Of making sure. And her name is North Queen. She's definitely. I'm positive that she'll be able to do things the way I know she will. I chose her specifically because I do feel she has gone through some obstacles that if she was still in the city without those obstacles, she would have been even bigger than what she, is currently going to be. You know what I mean? I think her obstacles makes her who she is. I think a lot of people would not have been able to survive some of the obstacles that she's gone through. And I think she's a survivor. And I think that her mindset and the way she does things and just her attitude about life, I think she's here and I think she's going to do great. You know what I mean? And for the most part, that's why I chose her.
Again, well, 13, 15 years is a long time. What is it that fuels you now to keep putting on this event?
What fuels me? I'll give the I'll give the politically correct answer. So last year I took a big hit. It was my aim for paparazzi is to always at least break even, minimally.
I mean, I think for any event, we
Minimally.
all hope for at
And
least
if you
that.
profit, great. You know, last year was a rough year, but this year I think not only will it be better, but I put things in place to make it be okay. Last year, because things got shifted up a little bit, I wasn't able to do the sponsorships like I would normally. So I didn't, I felt a little disrespected last year, and this year I feel like everything's back as it always has been. You know what I mean? The respect is there for us all, and I do believe that there is, I don't know, I feel like this year is going to be better and it's going to put me back on interest of really doing paparazzi, because last year I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm tired. You know what I mean? And I think this year will do well. I think this year will do well, and we have some surprises, right? So
Ooh, we like surprises.
Mhm.
But I hope it goes well.
It will.
But so disrespected in what way last year? Do we
Yeah.
want to elaborate a little bit?
Absolutely. I told you there was no questions off.
Okay, good. I love that. Let's
Off
lay it on the table then.
So I'm a firm believer that events can coexist. There's always room for events to coexist, in the sense of, so we have 52 weekends in a year. I'm a firm believer that there is not 52 promoters in the city. And if there is, you can still find a way to work things out. You know what I mean? Last year, there was a lot of behind the scenes conversations that should not have happened. You know what I mean? And for no reason. They don't even see me. I work a lot. So you don't even see me. So there shouldn't be any conversations. I was told that somebody was gonna. This is just as one of the conversations. They're gonna dun me, and I was like, dun me?
Wait.
Little old me.
Wait, back that up.
Why
Dun
would you?
you?
I swear, dun me in this city. And I was like, why? Well, what could I have done to make somebody want to think that way? You know what I mean? I don't step on toes. If ever I want to create it, every time I want to create a new event, I always ask around, is this date okay, blah, blah, blah. I never want to step on toes. So I'm like, why would somebody want to dun me? I keep the event the same time every year. So why?
But that's a little.
It's a little
extreme.
It's not only is it extreme, but why? What would be the reason? You know what I mean?
Yikes.
So I said it, and I seen Worm's face go like this in the back.
No, because honestly, like
I know.
in my brain, I'm like, wait,
Why?
what?
And I was like, it's a little confusing because it just doesn't make any sense. But those behind the scenes kind of conversations, they're behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, they're gonna say whatever it is they want to say, and that's it. It's really what it is.
I mean, yeah, but that's not like them saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do another event on her night." Like, done you? That's
Well, done me in the city. I do one event. You're gonna done my one event. Why? What would be the reason? You know what I mean? So I just thought to myself, you know what, Natalie, just focus. I don't do the internet back and forth, and so I'm just gonna focus, do what I do best, and make sure that I do, the best that I can, and that's it. It's really what it boils down to. Yeah.
I'm a little I'm a little stuck on that
Mhm.
that term, let's
Yeah.
say. But wow, that's crazy.
Mhm. And what would you say? Done me. What culture would you say that's from? Like what is that? What would you say?
That's a Jamaican term.
That's
That's
not even a Jamaican person. Okay. So
that's even worse.
you know what I'm saying? At least if it was a Jamaican person.
No, that's still not okay. But it's
You know.
definitely a million times worse that it's not a
Mhm.
Jamaican
Anyways.
person. Because wow,
That's really what it was, and I was like, well, why would they want to done me? It doesn't even make any sense. But anyways, let's move on.
that's because I guess in the last 3 years
Mhm.
there's been pretty much a switch? Are you just trying to switch things up? Or?
No, actually, no, not necessarily. I would have kept you.
Yes, we know. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yes, I don't mind talking, but if you
Let's
don't mind
talk about
talking
it. No,
about
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Yeah, I would have kept you
Mhm.
because I thought, honestly speaking, excellent. When I have still snippets of stuff that I'm like, and you were so excellent that my friend in Toronto, he was like, yo, introduce me to her when I come. I'm going to use her. She's good. I said, she's excellent. Just the way she spoke and everything. And like I said, I only do social media February to May,
Yeah.
strictly for promotion and posting the events and stuff like that and pictures. So for the most part, I'm not really on social media to that level.
Yeah.
And my team, I do have a team, right? And they were mentioning to me that you were promoting another event on the same night and saying you were going to be there. And I was like, where? And they sent it to me, and I was like, oh, man. So being who I was, I just called you.
Yeah.
And I said, Sam, come on. You had to know that this was not going to be something that would make sense. So I'm not going to be able to use you.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a great conversation. It didn't change the trajectory, us.
No.
But I had to explain to you why.
No,
but I think,
rightfully so.
Yeah, but I think that you would have been a long-term great host. And one of the reasons I wasn't able to use you again is because it was taken from me and my team as you just didn't have any respect for the event. You know what I mean? So that was why we decided to, move on and go with someone else or whatever. But that doesn't negate how I feel about you doing this, because I think that you're great. And I was sad that I wasn't able to introduce you to the person, because I do believe that this is going to be you. This is your niche. And you found a way to still be out there. You know what I mean? So, it worked itself out. Plain and simple.
It did.
Yeah.
I do want to just say, though, there definitely was no intended disrespect or no intended harm
Right.
from that. I did feel like it was something, because I even spoke to the other promoter, and I told her, yes, I am booked on Paparazzi. I will be there doing my interviews and whatnot. So she did understand, and she didn't really have much of an issue with it. I do understand, like you said, we had a conversation about it, so I completely understood your side, your take, and your point of view on that. So and I respected your decision.
We spoke
on
about
that,
it, but visually it didn't look well.
I
you know what I
completely
mean?
understand
So that was really, really what it boiled down to. But
Yeah.
since we're actually on the topic, I just want to mention that I do not believe that any one person deserves exclusivity. Okay? I do believe that people can do whatever it is they want to do. But last year, I was told that I was saying stuff like, I need exclusive rights, and blah, blah. I don't even speak that way.
You know
Especially
what?
to my friends.
I did hear that. I won't even
never
lie. I heard
once
that.
said that.
Yeah.
I don't even speak that way.
Yeah.
If you're first of all, let's just erase our situation.
Yeah.
But the person that I did speak with, I never once said exclusivity. I don't even speak like that. That's my friend. Hey, I just seen that you're on both flyers. It's okay. Which one do you want to stay on? Because I'm about to print. Do you want to stay on this one or that one? Whichever one you choose, it's up to you. You're still, And person messaged me the next day and said, I can't give you exclusivity, because I was like, you don't pay me as much as, and I was like, who wrote this for you? Why are you even speaking that way? You're my friend.
But simple. If it was an issue solely on payment, why couldn't they?
You're not getting it. I pay people what they ask me for.
But that's exactly what I was
I'll
saying.
Be honest
Why
with you,
couldn't they
if I
ask
can't
for more?
afford you, I don't even negotiate. I ask you. That's not it. It's because the person didn't hear the conversation. You understand? So when I spoke with him, I was like, why would you say that? I never said anything about exclusivity. I told you which flyer do you want to be on, because I'm about to print. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
You understand? I did say, you're not Stone Love, sweetie. Okay? You can't be on both. It's exactly what I did say. Sarcastically. But never. Why would I call, I want exclusivity? I don't even speak like that. It's silly. You understand? And that bothered me a lot. Because I was like, why would somebody do that to me, knowing that I fully well did not say anything about exclusivity and start talking to me about money you pay me and all of that. What you ask me for is what I give
That's
you.
what you get. Exactly.
You know, so that all in the realm of everything, that was what was happening leading up to the event. And I was like, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Oh my goodness.
It was a
Not
lot.
only was it a lot, all the people around me that don't understand. I had to keep a face like this to make it sound like it wasn't bothering me, because I didn't want anybody to react negatively.
Yeah.
You understand? Because at the end of the day, you still want a positive light on your event. So you don't want somebody coming in trying to think that they're defending you and mash up your thing because they think you're being a punk about it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's really, really what it boiled down to. And keep in mind, within the same realm of everything, I was supposed to get done in my city. So
Yeah.
I think last year was a teaching moment.
Yeah.
Things were really high energy, and all the people that I had to make amends with, amends were made that I needed to make amends with. All the other people it was just noise, because it didn't really make a difference. It didn't even affect me. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's really what it boiled down to.
Let's take a little break on that. We'll pay some bills and we'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. Let's move forward. So now I want to talk specifically about one of your DJs, because we know there's a main DJ.
Yep.
There's one specific DJ, or I guess group, sorry, that you put on from Montreal. And there's a lot of mixed feelings about that.
Right.
So what is it for you that makes you keep putting them on specifically?
Well, first and foremost, I think that if we want to talk about paparazzi ambassador, Crystal Sound Dog is the paparazzi ambassador. It doesn't matter where he is in the world, he mentions paparazzi, right? That's one. I know that every year he'll push the boundaries a little further than people like, right? But he is aware of what happens. Even though he might not be in the mix of it, he is aware of things that are happening throughout the year, whether it be on social media or whatever. And what Dog Andrew brings to the table, for me, is the vibe of him before Crystal Sound even. You understand? Because you got to keep in mind that I've been around Dog since 89, 90, when he used to do house parties, and he used to shell the place then. You know what I mean? And as time went on, he travels and he doesn't even post it. You know what I'm saying? He's humble and people don't realize it, you know?
I've noticed. And I only see him now, I would say, start really posting
and he
certain
does it.
things. And
Sometimes
still not
he's
even to the
Not even.
the
Like,
extreme.
he's really and truly, he'll call me, he'll be somewhere in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Talking to me about whatever. So he pushes the boundaries, and yes, he might say some things, and yes, a lot of people think that he might talk a lot.
There's a lot of controversy
Yeah.
regarding
Yes.
some of the stuff. I feel like, was it? No, not last year. The year before. I think I would say he maybe calmed down a touch.
Well,
if I
I'll tell you
remember
this.
correctly.
In 2015 was the year that whoever, right? The person decided to, do what they did, right? And I came in, it was here. And I came upstairs and I said to Dog, let me talk to you for a minute. I need you to do me a favor. Do not mention that thing that happened on the internet. Okay? Let's just get through the night. Don't mention it. I'm asking you not to say nothing about it. I just want to get through the night. I'm already dying from what was being said. Let's just move through. And he said, yeah, man, no problem, Nat, no problem.
Did it anyway, didn't he?
He got on the mic, and the first second, He mentioned it, and I was downstairs, and I was thinking, I'm gonna kill him.
I'm not surprised at all. That's just
And
him.
by the time I ran up the stairs, my friends were like, "Stop! No, let him talk." But yes, he obviously said what he said.
But he does it in the right way too.
He does.
So,
And when he's saying certain things, people are taking it to heart. He's not saying your name. So if you are taking it to heart and you are putting that shoe and lacing it up, that's your business.
if
You understand?
the shoe fits.
But don't get me wrong. He's not shy to say the name, but he's not going to come to my event and disrespect by calling the person's name. But no, I think that he's controversial. I think he is. People have not heard Dog without a mic. But if you heard him without a mic, you'd be just as impressed. The only thing is that, yes, he does speak and say things that is on his mind.
It's a little hot.
You understand? But just to give you this, years ago, there used to be this place I think called Lola Lounge. I think it was called, or Blue Dog or whatever, back in the day that we used to go to. And Dog and I are friends. So we would always be around Dog talking. And then we would go to the event. And let's just say there was something that happened with somebody there. He would say something like, whoever get evicted, you know what I mean? Whatever. You know, show your house key.
Yeah.
You know, like, but it was exciting. You understand what I'm saying? It was not the nicest, but if you're going to strap on those shoes
But
and
that's
lace
it.
them.
I think one thing I do appreciate about Dog is he is one of few who bring that real kind of yard vibe.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
And it's authentic.
But not everybody likes that. Not
It's
everybody
okay.
can deal with the
Well,
talking. Not everybody
absolutely,
can, you know.
but-
Even me, to a certain degree, I'm like, okay, let's reel it in a little bit.
Right. But the one thing you won't get is the same talk from Dog every week.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Truthfully. And he reminds me of when I'm in New York or when I'm in, you know, the
Yeah.
Caribbean or
Yeah.
whatever the case is. That's what I get from him.
Exactly.
I will leave my house for Dog. And I don't leave my house at nighttime. You understand what I'm
We
saying?
know, Nat. We know. Why
But-
you not outside,
yeah.
Nat?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Truthfully, if you want an authentic vibe, dancehall vibe, Crystal Sound, Dog, he really is the person.
I
for
do
me.
agree on that.
Yeah.
And I have to shout him out too because the year that I did host for you and did the interviews, that was my first time doing hosting to that aspect,
Right.
which I love you for and I appreciate you for.
Oh, yeah, you were
because
so
that
great.
opened me up
Absolutely.
a lot, and it has made me kind of change avenues too, even in the way
Good.
I do things now.
You know, thanking me, but thanking Ricky, because Ricky brought it to my attention.
Yes, that too. Shout out to Ricky.
Yeah, he brought it to my attention, and I was like, "That's a great idea."
Yeah, yeah.
because
No.
he knew I stopped doing it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I was one of the few people that was doing it, so I was so grateful.
Yeah, no, I appreciated that so much. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Ricky, for that suggestion. And I have to big up Dog for that too, because even after I interviewed him that night, he made it a point to come in and tell me, like, don't quit. Like,
Yeah, man.
this is your lane.
That
This
is Dog.
yeah.
You
And
hear me?
me and him, like, we've exchanged conversation before, little conversation, but that was the first time that I got like a compliment or felt like a real genuine conversation.
Absolutely.
And I was like,
People think he's
he's
allowed.
not so bad.
He's
But
not.
that's it, because I only know him from the stage, from
You will only-
the mic,
if
the
you're talking,
MCing.
Dog loves to laugh. He's always laughing
Yeah.
and always giggling and always whatever. Yes, he gets on there and he's a different person,
Yeah.
but he's honest.
Yeah.
He is not. He's honest, and for me, I need that from a DJ, because DJs will
Absolutely.
come on there and say, ladies, if you have the same conversation, if you
Yeah.
have your own house,
If you're not wearing no panties
if you're
tonight.
not wearing no panties, you know, it's the same.
yeah,
stupid,
yeah.
You know, nobody. wants
What's
to
your
hear that.
favorite position?
Yeah, it's nobody wants to
Mid-tide
hear
here,
that
that's enough.
anymore. Nobody does it anywhere else. Montreal does it. It's the truth. We don't want to hear it no more.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they can continue because I'm at home.
No,
But-
don't continue.
Yeah, but
don't
I'm saying
continue.
that nobody wants to hear that no more. We want to hear real conversations. You know, real life things that are happening now.
Absolutely.
You know, so yeah. So Dog, I call him my paparazzi ambassador for that reason.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
I love it. I'm not.
He says it. I am paparazzi, and paparazzi is me.
Mhm.
Boom, bam.
Mhm.
And who else can you say? Think about this. Who else can you say? Which promoter can you say has hired the same promoter for the same DJ for 13 years.
Ricky. Ricky. But rightfully so.
Yeah.
You, like you said, you want to be like Ricky.
Yeah.
You're on the right track.
Good. I'm
you
on my
are
way.
on the right track.
I'm
Ricky
on my
has
way.
hired Kid for about the same amount of years, 13 years. So, wow. That's a
Right.
good look.
Yeah.
For you and for Dog.
And when I say hired, keep in mind he's part of Paparazzi.
Mhm.
It's not even a hire; it's just an automatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
he already knows once
Yeah.
once this time rolls around.
Yeah.
it's
He'll
time
move
to go.
around his dates
Yeah,
out of town to accommodate
To accommodate.
paparazzi.
as he should.
Mhm.
Shout out to you, Dog, as you
Mhm.
should.
Absolutely.
What are some of the roadblocks and struggles that you've had to face from the first time you did paparazzi until now?
What are some of? That's a great question. I think all promoters face this, trying to balance your budget for it to make sense, Like I was saying to DJs like to normally overcharge me, I would say the roadblocks more than anything else is, like I always say, I do one event per year. And like I said, there's time for people. There's events can coexist, but I would never want to infringe on, let's say, Ricky. If I had to do a second event, I wouldn't infringe on Ricky Not Nice's events, or Ricky D's events, or certain things. Gary T's not on the scene like he used to, but his, because you already know that the little 250 people that are going out now, you're splitting that.
Exactly.
And I really do believe in a round robin system. This week for me, next week for you, or whatever.
But that logically you would think that
Logically, but this is what they've come up with now.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just want to say, because I've been your age, right? This is what they've come up with now. Well, it's not the same age group. Listen to me. My age group, we all roll to Ricky's events.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And you guys roll to my events.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's not even about that. It's just about making it make sense. I'm not saying lock down the whole city.
No.
Obviously, do a Calypso event then on my name. Let the Calypso people go, because you're not going to hear it at Paparazzi. You understand?
That's true.
Hip hop, R&B, whatever. How are you doing another dance hall event on the same night and calling it for what your excuse is, for what your reason is? It's not even makes sense, because the majority of the people are going to go to the annual event, and then the other people that you're either, because people have called people that come to my event to offer them free tickets. You understand what I'm saying? So
No way.
absolutely, but I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. I want you to shine. You understand? And I'll tell you this. Kelson, I will forever respect.
That yeah.
1 year, me
yeah.
and Kelson were on the same date, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, And I promoted his, he promoted mine, saying, well, you have choices this weekend. But Kelson calls me from October, November to ask me
double-check,
what my
yeah.
date is. You understand?
But Kelson's rare. Kelson is he's
smart.
top tier.
He's logic. He's more
Yeah.
than top tier.
Yeah.
You understand? He doesn't want to do that, and I don't want to do that to him. You understand?
But it also doesn't make sense either, because these are both now two big events.
Absolutely.
His event is, it's not 13 years, but it's coming up. It's well known. A lot of
Absolutely.
people look forward to this event.
Absolutely,
too.
and they dress up there too.
Absolutely.
So
And he's somebody who loves paparazzi
yeah,
too.
and
So
he comes and he dresses up. And,
exactly, for him to miss that, and
so
it's like
I really appreciate that about
Yeah.
him. He makes sense, and I think that most promoters should do that. Back in the days, okay, and yes, I'm gonna age myself, but back in the days, you couldn't really disrespect. Keep in mind, social media is now. We didn't have social media then.
No.
You couldn't really. I'm not condoning this. I'm just explaining. You couldn't really disrespect certain promoters. You understand? Whether it be going to their event and fighting, whether it would be having another event down the road. You couldn't do that back in the day. You understand what I'm saying? Because you end up in somebody's trunk, far out. That's how they used to. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that back in the day,
it was a different ballgame.
It was a different ballgame, and we didn't do it. And there was more than 500, 600, 700, 800 people at that time. You understand? So there could have been two events that coexist, but they didn't. They chose a round robin system, and it was what it was. You understand? So, I wish that it would go back to that. But social media does allow for, I don't know if it's popularity, I don't know what it is, but social media does allow for people to feel, I'm going to create a flyer and people are just going to come. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That doesn't
So
work that way.
it's hard, but those are some of the obstacles. But outside of that, I think that I just focus on making paparazzi be the best that it could be. And, I have women that contact me and say, I really want to come to paparazzi. I got a babysitter, but I just don't have any money right now. And you know what? Here, let me send you a ticket. Because you want everybody to still come out and enjoy
For sure,
themselves.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say women, I use mostly for women. You understand what I mean? I don't mind. For the most part, there's some girls back in the day that say I didn't get my welfare check this week. You understand? And they get a ticket. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's okay. You're not always going to have it. But to try to split the
But
crowd
that's
doesn't
it.
make sense.
I love that they're transparent enough and honest
Absolutely.
enough to be able to come in
Absolutely.
and tell you that too.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. You know what I
that's
mean?
good.
So for the most part, I think that the obstacles or stuff that could be avoided. And when they do come about, you just have to find a way to move around it. And that's really what it boils down to.
That's good. And I do agree, though. I think that there should be some kind of round robin system, as you said.
Absolutely.
And I think there definitely is room for it.
There's
But
more than room for it.
I think the main issue is people obviously shy away from winter months. So then once things start to warm up, everybody's kind of like, all right, I'm going to do something this day, that day, this, and no regards to anything else or anybody else. So I think
in
that's
that sense, yeah, okay.
that's probably the bigger issue. But yeah, no, I think
I think the round robin system works.
yeah,
And yeah.
it would make more sense.
Absolutely.
And everybody would be able to
Absolutely.
make something, and
Absolutely.
everybody would be happy to a
No
certain
kidding.
degree. So like you said, there's enough days. There's enough days.
There really
Obviously,
are.
I know weekdays now are probably a little bit harder than they were back in the day.
Yes.
But there's still enough weekends. There's
Absolutely.
still enough
'Cause
Fridays,
do you
Saturdays.
know 52 promoters?
Personally, no.
Nobody does.
No. And even
In Montreal. It's the truth.
I mean, okay, well, if we're being real, because Gussie's over there giggling. If we're being real, technically, yeah, there's 52
No.
or more.
No, you know what? Let me say this, okay?
Yeah, let's clarify.
Let me clarify. All right. A promoter is a promoter. Okay. A DJ is a DJ. Okay. And host is a host. Right. So if a DJ is having a birthday party, right? They're the DJ having the birthday party. They're not the promoter having the birthday party. So let's just clarify that first and foremost, right? I do believe that a lot more women are in the industry now, trying to, find their way. And, one of the things that I don't mind them calling themselves whatever they want to call themselves. But, if you're passing out flyers on the weekends, you're not a promoter. You understand what I'm saying? Because promoters are people that invest their money in the event, budget, pay the DJ, pay the security. That is the promoter's job. So if you're not doing that, you can't call yourself a promoter. It's just how I feel. You know what I mean? So
Hey, I'm glad we got that clarification, because we've asked this question. So, okay, you know what? Let me ask this question. What do you think about the hosting epidemic that we're in?
okay, so what you did for me last year was hosting. You had a mic in your hand and you walked around and you interviewed, right? Some people might call you an interviewer, but it's just not a nice name. Hosting would be more what it is, right? One of the reasons I don't allow anyone to put me on flyers anymore, if ever they ask, not even my name doesn't even make any sense. I'm not coming. You understand? And even if I am coming, I'm not doing anything there, I think that girls that are on flyers, I do believe that it's for them to promote it for you. But they're not, when you say host, when they come, what are they actually really doing?
What are they doing?
Right? But if they are coming and grabbing the mic and doing what they do everywhere out of town. Toronto, New York, the Caribbean. They're grabbing the mic and saying a one, two things. You understand what I'm saying? So that could be considered hosting.
But not here.
If me as a promoter wants to add somebody to a flyer and I'm making that decision, I'm not expecting them to do anything but push the flyer on their platform. You understand what I'm saying? So that's really, really what it is.
Okay, so in that aspect then, do you think that even merits a personal flyer per se?
Well, it merits a personal flyer because the reason I say it merits a personal flyer. So, for example, let's just say Gussie said to me, you know what, Natalie? I want to assist with pushing paparazzi. It would be a good look. Let me put Gussie, let them have their own flyer and push it. I'm not calling them hosts. I'm saying Gussie and Ricky.
So there, that's more my question.
I mean?
Does it merit a personal flyer with the name host
No.
or hosted?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe it merits a flyer with the name hosting. I've made that mistake in the past, though, and realized that it's just not logical. You know what I mean? So if I make you a flyer for paparazzi because you say you want to push it, why would you push my flyer just me? Just push your own, and it still has to do with paparazzi. You know?
I like that. Mm-hmm. So it looks like we might need to have some new terms on flyers.
I think that people are going to use the terms that they feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
So,
but at the end of the day, it should make sense too.
Well, it should make sense, but I've gone to, I'll give this as an example. This is just, Angela Stryker. Mm-hmm. When I go to New York, she's on flyers. She grabs the mic and she has something to say to the people.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? When she's speaking, she has something to say to the people. And she's on the flyer and it makes sense. They coincide. You understand what I'm saying? So if I was to put, like I said, Ricky and Gussie on the flyer and they're in the corner popping bottles and making all kinds of noise, they kind of merit to have that flyer. You understand? But people are going to do what they want to do regardless.
That's true. I like the clarification though.
That's my version of things. I don't necessarily think everyone thinks that way.
They don't.
Right.
They don't. But I think personally, I think I agree with your clarification, and I think there's quite a few people who might agree.
It makes
too.
the most sense. Yeah.
So now, what sets paparazzi apart from all the other events?
What sets paparazzi? These are good questions. What sets paparazzi apart from the other events? I think that it's a clean campaign. It's really important for me to put out good quality images. It's really important for me to put out just a good, clean campaign, wording, the way it's promoted. I have interviews that people are like, "Bumba clat this, that." I don't put those ones out because I want it to I want it to age well, So I think that people know when they're coming to paparazzi, it's excitement. People are dressed up. People are going to come and they're going to have a good time. You know what I mean? And they're going to be able to capture all the memories of that night by seeing themselves on video or pictures. I have 13 years of pictures and videos. Some of the people aren't even friends anymore, and I still have these things.
We know that.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying that I put out the stuff regardless, because these are still the memories of paparazzi, plain and simple. So,
But you know what? I like that, because I will say one of the years that you did paparazzi and you had Gary Sherlock. Mm-hmm. Funny enough, we're not like friends, but I feel like he's such a genuine person, because every year he never ever
glad you mentioned him.
And mind you, we never really like held conversation like that per se, or nothing to that extent, but he never misses my birthday.
Can I just tell you something?
Ever.
I'm so glad you mentioned Gary. I cannot believe I did not mention Gary Sherlock as a host.
Shout out to Gary, because
shout out to Gary Sherlock. When I was thinking of giving up, Gary was also one of the people that was like, nah, don't do that. But you have a niche. It's good. Don't worry about it. Just keep going forward. Any ideas you want, just link me. He is a promoter of dance hall reggae, dance hall events. No matter what, he believes in it. He pushes it. He's very eccentric, as we know. But Gary is probably one of the most genuine people. And when he came for paparazzi that year, he's a star. So he didn't come at 1:30. I was stressing. You know what I mean? But he came in, and from the moment he came in, it was electric.
He was in it. He was in it.
He was electric. And I told him he should just drive down this year because he's in the States. I said, just drive down. I invited him, drive down. You and your crew, VIP, just come, you know? So, you know, I would hope.
Well, I hope he pulls up.
I hope so, too.
I hope he pulls up.
I hope so, too. And his sister, Naj, is just like him. Oh, you
Is
would.
she?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to make it a point to make it to their all white.
You should. And if you
December.
can't,
it's on my bucket list.
And if you can't, you can go to New York and go to their event. You know what I mean? Truthfully, Gary Sherlock was one of the best hosts as well.
Yeah,
and he was a host. He was on the flyer, and he was a host. You understand? Walking around, he will choose the person that is the quietest in the corner and bring them out and make them try to enjoy themselves. You understand what I'm saying? He's really that guy, truthfully. And he's a good friend.
Yeah, he was a good host, and again, very genuine. We don't even talk, but he makes it a point every year to write on my Facebook wall.
Yeah, it's who he is.
And it's a genuine message too. It's not a generic,
it's
know.
who he is, truthfully.
So, yeah, shout out to Gary for that.
Yes.
Hey, so now year 13. I really just want to call it 15.
Go ahead.
Even though we lost 2 years, but do you see an end date in sight?
Why? You know, I said I was going to try to at least get to 15. And Ricky just made it 15, right? Do I see an end date in sight? I'd like to pass it on, you know.
Okay.
I'd like to pass it on. I've had conversations with, some a specific promoter. I won't name any names.
Yeah.
But I'd like to pass it on.
That
and
could be good.
Watch it even grow bigger. You know what I mean? And still, be involved, but not have to do the. Like, I printed
heavy
flyers,
lifting.
and I was like, oh my God, I gotta pass on these flyers. You know what I mean? It's a lot, But I wish I had like that. I could see myself passing it on. But as for myself, my end game is to be in the Caribbean full time. So I'm not gonna come back up just specifically for that.
So okay. So then, if you do plan to eventually move permanently, would you start doing it there?
Well, the thing is I spoke with some people to do it in Barbados, right? And it's hard to dictate because I've also had people ask me from other provinces here. Yeah. And it's hard
to bring it to other. Yeah. Okay.
It's hard to dictate or manage when you're not there full time. So for the provinces, it was like, oh, it doesn't even make doesn't even make any sense. But
it's risky too.
It is risky because they could tell you anything.
Exactly.
Oh, the venue costs $6,000.
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean, or whatever.
A lot of people get cheated.
Absolutely.
That way.
But I'm open to it. You know what I mean? Doing it in wherever I decide to base myself later on in life. Yeah. But I can't say that I have a specific end date. But every year I'm like, boy, I think this is the last. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it has to make sense, But no, I don't have a specific end date. But hopefully I could pass it on to somebody.
Okay. And well, you're speaking to someone specific. So I would imagine you see or you feel like that person can manage the load.
Absolutely. Okay. I think that this person can make it be an even bigger event, right? Create kind of the excitement around it. You understand what I mean? More than me, because as much as I like to have newer ideas every year and bring new DJs and stuff like that, because I don't normally hire the same DJ kind of twice. Yeah. I think the only person I've ever kind of hired twice outside of Dog is Worm.
Oh, okay.
You understand? But because Worm actually played for my grandmother's 90th and had her dancing, so I'll adore him for that. Oh. Yeah. So anyways, I think that, what was the question?
Passing it on. The person.
Passing it on. Yeah. Yes, the person, I definitely think that they can make it be bigger than I can even dream of. Absolutely.
But paparazzi is not. And that
no, but I can still be paparazzi, but still be at home laying down.
No.
While it's happening. You know what I mean? I don't
know how I
necessarily
feel
mean
about
laying
that.
down. I mean not promote, not having
Yeah.
to. I only put social media. I only go on social media between February and May. Outside of that, I'm not even interested. It's depressing.
Ricky's dying over there.
No, but it's the truth. It's depressing.
Yeah.
One. Two.
But
My-
you
my
have
boyfriend
a specific
likes
goal for
my
your
boyfriend likes Instagram, so he'll
Yeah.
send me Instagram stuff. So he might show me or whatever the case
Yeah.
is, but outside I'm not even interested.
Yeah.
Because the dramatics that I see is depressing. You understand what I'm
Trust me.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes it's fun, don't get me wrong, to watch from afar. But that's the only time I'm really into social media is from February to May. Once the pictures are all out there, I don't even need to do anything
Done.
else.
Yeah.
I've even deactivated after.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Just to kind of give myself a break or whatever.
I'm not mad at it though. You have a specific goal with the social media. You
Absolutely.
use it to do what you need to do, and that's that.
I can't lie. If I do go down the rabbit hole of going through people's stuff, which I rarely do, I might share something to the story because I think they're hilarious
Yeah.
or whatever the case is. But, outside of that, you won't see me commenting on the dramatics, the stuff that are happening. But
There's a lot that's happening.
there is. Some is warranted based on what I see, but at the same time, I'm like, it's a lot of energy,
Yeah.
It's a lot of energy being given.
But so, you know what?
Go ahead. No questions off limits.
I wanted to get a little. All right, let's do it. As a grown woman, not try age,
No, it's okay.
no numbers, nothing. But as a grown woman, how do, especially again in the industry, because a lot of these dramatics are within the industry.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about that as a grown woman?
Well,
Like,
I do believe promoters should not get into the dramatics. I do believe that promoters should stay promoters and concentrate, because once they put themselves and involve themselves in certain things, they'll lose people.
absolutely.
So it's best to not comment or not have any chosen side or whatever as a promoter, as a DJ as well. You
Yeah.
understand? So when you say industry, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But if you're a patron and you're, a client
Yeah.
and a flyer person,
Have
do
at
what
it.
you want to do. Have at it. Say, do
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. But you cannot call yourself a promoter and
And
be
be-
disrespecting people, whether they come to your event or not.
Yeah.
That person still has people that like them. That person still has friends and family, and you're putting yourself in a bad position.
Yep.
So I don't think that, I'm not going to get into the dramatics, because why? I want everybody to come to my event. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, for the
Yeah,
most part.
and this city is dangerous. Once you pick a side,
that as well.
people hold grudges out
Absolutely.
here.
They hold grudges. They hold grudges, and they get themselves involved in something like, go read a book.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm
Yep.
saying? Why are you getting yourself involved in this? You're a
Yeah.
promoter. Just promote.
that's it.
If I seen Ricky or Gussie, okay, arguing, and this is just to say, arguing back and forth with somebody on social media, I'd be like, okay, no, they need more innovative things to promote. You understand what I'm saying? It's okay to say one thing and keep it moving. You understand? But going back and forth doesn't make any sense as a promoter or as a DJ, because you have a following and you want to keep your following.
Best to stay neutral, guys.
Yeah. Even if behind the scenes you're not neutral, it's your business.
But
with you
of
and your
course,
woman or
because
man or
naturally
whatever.
you're gonna have your own
Absolutely. Sorry, I have
opinion.
allergies.
That's okay. No, don't worry about it. Naturally, you're gonna have your own opinion, and you're
Absolutely. You're gonna say it to your man, your friends,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
But to be
you
out
don't
there,
need to be on the internet.
you don't need to be on the internet going back and forth with somebody that doesn't have anything else to do. They're gonna go back and forth with you all day long.
All
Doesn't
damn
make any sense. There's this guy trolled me on my own Facebook.
Oh my God.
He was, listen, I posted something that somebody asked me to post. They sent me a WhatsApp message and said, Nat, can you do me a favor? Post this. I posted it, and that was it. Went back to look 2 days later. I had somebody up there disrespecting me, calling me a loser. Nobody want me. I was like, who's this? Who's this person?
He don't know you,
Right? But I was just like, who's this person? And I realized, you know what? He's allowed to have his opinion. It doesn't even make a difference. I'm just going to ignore it. Went back 2 days later, he put more. And then I had to block him because everybody else was getting involved. You understand? They were replying to him. I said, I don't want people arguing. This guy's obviously a troller. I've never seen this person in real life ever.
It's always one of those.
So I'm like, you know what? They're going to say and do whatever they want to do, and that is it. But for the most part, and like I said, somebody asked me to put it up, but I won't do that again. Because the person asked me to put it up and had no comment, made no comments.
Oh, wow. Left you to take the heat.
Left me to take the heat on something that I really couldn't care less about.
That's crazy. Now, I think we mentioned this earlier. Do you think that you would ever really take the leap and transform paparazzi from a nighttime event to a daytime?
Absolutely.
Is that something we could look forward to?
Absolutely.
In the near future, before you pass it on, of course.
I would love to do that. If I could have done it this year, it was put 10-2 on my flyer. Okay? It was strategic though. And people were like, oh, I understand. I'm thinking, 2:00 is 1 hour before it's really supposed to close.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get you out earlier. You understand? So I would love to change this into a day party. If I could find a weekend that someone is not doing an event and is not an annual event, I would switch it. I would switch it right now if I could.
Right now. It's a little too close. A little too
close. Day
parties
parties are it. It is. Listen, at the end of the day, a day party could be on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So day parties are it. I really believe that that's the way that things are supposed to be.
I'm gonna wait on it.
Nothing happens good at 3 something in the morning.
Crossing my fingers because daytime to dress up and show out.
Oh no,
there's no better time.
I told you I went to breakfast parties at 6 a.m. and it was rammed and people were dressed up.
I don't know about that one yet.
Oh,
I don't know if I can pull that one off.
I couldn't believe it, and we went late. People were there from 4. I'm telling you, in the Caribbean they have the formula,
but they're not normal out there.
Oh,
so I don't
guess
know.
what? Tickets are $80 US and they're paying it without arguing and without saying nothing. We are the only city that is still undercharging because everything else is going up.
Talk about it.
The venue prices are going up.
Talk about it.
Alcohol is going up.
Talk about it.
When they discuss about how much alcohol is and how much we sell it for, they're not factoring in that you're paying the bartender, you're paying the bus person. You understand what I'm saying?
You got to pay to get a liquor license.
You got to pay to get your liquor license. They're not factoring in all these things. But they don't complain about it when they go out of town. They do what they got to do. And that's really what it is.
But why? Like,
I think
is the experience that different?
Out of town?
Yeah.
I think that when they go to town, I don't think they rate their own city. I don't think they rate their own city. I think when they go to town, they feel like, even if the DJ plays exactly like our DJ here, and I can admit that I've been that person as well. I go to an all-white event in Toronto every year. It's amazing. It's a day party. It's amazing, and there's over 1,000 people, and people dress up and they're well behaved and whatever. And to me, that's the best time I ever have in life when I'm there. But I'm not saying that the excitement is different. It's different, and the people are enjoying themselves and they're dancing. They're not going through what we go through here about lining the walls and stuff like that, So it's a different experience, 100%, And like I said, the other thing that I always, me and Tanya always have this conversation. I'm not sure if you guys have this issue, but I do believe at events the single drink service needs to stop. I'll tell you why I say that. Smaller bottles. You want Hennessy? Why am I opening up a whole bottle of Hennessy? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do believe that Montreal doesn't know any better, so they do it that way. But when they go to town, they buy their little bottle. Even if it's for them, they buy their little bottle. And they hold a corner with their little bottle. Everywhere else except for Montreal. So
I didn't know that was a thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Something
only
to
here.
think about here.
Mm-hmm. It's only here. It's because we don't want to take the chance either, right? So,
but I mean, I think in this economy, it might do better than full-size bottles then, because a lot of people are not spending money like before.
No, things have really changed.
Yeah,
things have really, really changed. Paparazzi. By a certain time, you had no more tables left. You know what I mean? People are still buying tables, but you can't even gauge things until, let's say, the week and a half before, 2 weeks before the event. So it's a little bit difficult.
Okay, so what can we look forward to at Paparazzi this year?
So at Paparazzi this year, usually I always, choose a DJ, and my partner chose a DJ this year. And I think it was a good choice. She chose DJ Snoopy. I was asked to bring him a few years back. At the time, I already had somebody in mind, so I left it that way. But we're bringing DJ Snoopy. I think that he is on his way to making a mark for himself in the industry. You know what I mean? And
he's hot right now
in
on
the entertainment
on social
industry.
media.
Yeah. In the entertainment industry, and I'm glad that we were able to get him and solidify him for Paparazzi. So for Paparazzi this year, alongside our DJ ambassador, Crystal Sound Dog, there will be DJ Snoopy out of Toronto, and he's coming with his people, and it's going to be a good time. But as far as being things trying to get people out earlier, I just would like to say that this year Paparazzi, and I'm only giving these raffle tickets to people that come before 1 a.m. Okay,
that too late. 12 o'clock.
I said 12, but that come early enough. I don't know if anybody knows what BRT Weekend is. BRT Weekend is an event that happens in Atlantic City. I have 2 ticket giveaways to anyone that obviously we pull the raffle name, and it will be before, let's say 12. Come before 12, you have access to these 2 tickets, and you get 2 free complimentary tickets for BRT Weekend.
BRT is a big deal.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Wow, that's crazy. Y'all are really pulling out the big stuff. We had what did we have? Dream Weekend at We Are the Future, which I'm mad I wasn't able to compete for. But hey, but wow, that's I
told you
before 12 o'clock. People.
Yeah,
Before
I told you I'm trying to be
o'clock.
like Ricky Not Nice.
You up there? You up there?
Oh, and also for May 16th, we have a America's Most Wanted show that will be happening. The ladies will be, so all the bachelorettes, all the divorcees, all the single ladies, all the married women, everyone, just come out. America's Most Wanted.
Gussie said, not my married
America's Most Wanted, May 16th. There's a crew of us having the event. Risque Divas, Gary T, Shamba, Fraser, and just come on out. It's going to be really nice. That's May 16th, so get your tickets early.
Wow, it's getting hot in her. All right, so Nat, thank you so much for joining us in the room. I loved having you.
Yeah, this was wonderful.
Thank you. This conversation.
And good luck with this. I think that this is really going to work itself out for you. I think this is exactly your niche, and you'll do well. You got me to drink Baileys and all.
Can we yours is almost done, but cheers again.
Cheers.
Thank
all the
you
best
so much.
to you.
Thank you.
All right.